2 days after Independence Day, the remaining GM dealers in the United States received a letter from the General Motors National Dealer Council letting the dealers know that the National Dealer Council strongly opposes the Automobile Dealer Economic Rights Restoration Act of 2009. It's also called H.R. 2743. The letter urged all remaining GM dealers to sign the letter immediately by no later than 5 p.m. on Tuesday, July 7th. They urged the dealers to fax it back to the National Dealer Council, urging that they do not support passage of the Restoration of Economic Rights. I have nothing personally against GM or Chrysler, Madam Speaker. These are great American companies. But what I do object to is the federal government effectively taking over these once great companies. Last Friday, GM emerged from bankruptcy. Madam Speaker, but do the American people even realize that they own a majority share in this company, effectively 61%, which is why many people now call it government motors? Do they know that 3,400 privately owned dealerships were given pink slips essentially by the federal government? 3,400 dealerships were closed down all across America, not because these dealers were failing, hardly. In my district, dealers were experiencing some of their best months ever for sales, high customer satisfaction, and terrific service. Perplexed and bewildered, 3,400 automobile dealers across the United States were given pink slips, essentially by the Obama Auto Task Force. 150,000 jobs are estimated to be at risk of vanishing by this move. And with these jobs goes a part of the American dream for private property owners in business in our country. The remaining GM dealers carved up the spoils. Now, let me be perfectly clear. I fault none of these existing remaining GM dealers. These actions weren't their fault. Our fear with government owning these car companies is that politics will control GM's remaining decisions, not business. And now with this letter, it seems that politics is prevailing. Existing dealers are urged by GM to work against restoring economic rights to the dealers who saw their businesses' value drained from them overnight. How can current GM dealers possibly stand up against GM when GM is the federal government? Again, dealers are urged to sign a letter that will disadvantage their disenfranchised former competitors. This is a bad business, Madam Speaker, and it perfectly illustrates why we don't want government to own or operate or control private businesses. And I yield back.